All right, friends, it's time to give you loyal listeners a discount on protein powder. You may or may not know, but I launched my very first protein powder 2 years ago. It's a grass-fed beef isolate with only 3 ingredients: grass-fed beef, either organic cacao or organic vanilla, and organic monk fruit. Now, if you don't want any of the added flavor and sweeteners, you can also just get unflavored. And no matter what flavor you choose, you're getting over 23 grams of protein per scoop, which is going to keep you full and satisfied between meals. I love starting my day with a Fab4 smoothie and breaking my fast with that much protein. It makes a serious difference in my cravings and blood sugar balance the rest of the day, and I've seen it with my clients as well. Now, I never thought I'd own a product company, but when I got pregnant with Sebastian, I realized the majority of protein powders were chemically extracted or enzymatically extracted, and I wanted to use heat and water only. I wanted minimal ingredients because we don't need those emulsifiers, fillers, or added vitamins, minerals, and probiotics. All of those additions increase the chances that it's not going to work for your body, whether it be bloating, digestion issues. I just wanted pure, clean protein to keep you full and satisfied so you could build the most delicious Fab4 smoothie. And I have to say, I'm pretty proud of the flavor. If you take a look at our reviews on Amazon, you'll see 5-star reviews for flavor. And that is key, because if you don't love your Fab4 smoothie and you don't love drinking your protein powder, you're not going to do it. It won't become a habit, and it's consistency that outpaces everything. So if you're here and you're listening and you want to give our protein powder a try, use the code PODCAST5 for $5 off your order. And let me know if you love it. My favorite ways to apply this protein powder is in my Fab4 smoothie, making freezer fudge, making chocolate milk, making hot chocolate, and throwing the unflavored into all my kids' baked goods. So let me know how you use it. Let me know if you love it, and share this podcast deal with your friends. I have never been more excited to tape a podcast.
Really?
You're laughing, but I feel like you were such a game changer for me and my health. You were. I had seen multiple doctors and sort of hopscotched from a regular Western MD to like a chiropractor or even acupuncturist. And I didn't even know what functional medicine was 8 years ago. And that's when we met. And I saw you as a patient recommended by John Margolis, which, you know, John is married to my best friend, Angela.
That's right.
Good people. And then I came in here and we sat down for about 2 hours, and it was life-changing.
Oh, that's awesome. Oh my God, I love to hear that.
No, seriously, there's no one I trust more with my clients than you. And I'm a little nervous for when this podcast is done that you're going to have thousands of emails from people wanting to be a patient, which I'm happy about, but you need to clone yourself a couple of times to deal with the client load. But can you explain to everyone what your background is and what functional medicine is?
Yeah. Well, I was trained in emergency medicine, and I just finished my career last month. I did it for 20 years. So I learned the whole Western world of taking care of people. And functional medicine has nothing to do with Western medicine. It's like the opposite in a way. So it was good to learn and train in that way, because I got to see what that world is like and how it doesn't work and where it does work. Now, where it does work, it works in acute care. If you have a stroke or you have an accident and break your arm, or you have to have surgery, or you have a heart attack, that's where it really shines to me. And there's new research, all this artificial intelligence stuff coming out that's going to be fascinating to see what happens with healthcare in that world. But in my world, and how I got here, I'll never forget it. I was, a couple years out of residency. I was working in Dallas, Texas, and I sat down for my ER shift, and I sat there and I felt this overwhelming feeling of like, what have I done? I just made a big mistake.
Spent a lot of years getting there.
Yeah,
too.
I did. And I was like, oh my God, this is not what I'm supposed to be doing with my life. And it was very scary and a very like defeating, I want to cry feeling. So I had to keep searching, and I love medicine and science and people. So long story short, I find my way into the functional medicine world, go to my first conference, and I'm like, holy crap, this is it. This is for me. The whole aha moment you always hear about, that was it. And I was like, wow, I did the whole training. And it's like starting over again because you have to relearn things in a different way. And it's I just love the learning part of it, but I dove in, man. I did the whole board certification, went and got my master's degree in functional and like metabolic medicine, metabolic nutritional medicine. And so what I learned, and to kind of put what functional medicine is in a nutshell, it's looking for the root reason why you're sick. It's not Western where you give a pill to people to cover up symptom. Symptoms to me are just red flags of something burning somewhere else. So it's not, here's your pill for your depression or your pill for your anxiety, your pill for your heartburn and your cholesterol, etc. It's like, let's find out why you have those problems. So we learn why. We learn where to go look. It's very investigational. And I'm looking to individualize your health. So when you get your labs back after talking to you and learning about you, your plan of action will work for Kelly, and that's it. It won't work for anybody else. Because your reasons why you have anxiety or cholesterol, whatever, might be different for everyone. So it's not like stick you in a box and give you a pill. I'm going to go, okay, this is what we discovered. Your anxiety is from X, and someone else's might be from Y and Z. So they're different. So they're approached differently by me. So then the third part of it is to optimize your health. I'm looking to get you super, super healthy, firing on all pistons. You feel amazing. Life is the best. Because without your health, you have nothing. So we teach you how to live your life, mind, body, spirit, lifestyle, all this other stuff. So you're maximizing your life. Now, the fourth part is lifestyle. So this is huge. We look at, the influence of your lifestyle is massive on your health. So what are you eating? What are you drinking? Are you sleeping? Are you stressing? Are you working out? How do you deal with stress? How do you deal with people in your life? How do you meditate? Have you had any head injuries in your life? Where were you born? Where did you grow up? What kind of house was it? What kind of diet did you have when you were a kid? It gets like deep because I want to learn everything about you.
Yeah, I think our first appointment together was close to 2 hours.
Oh, they're all like, yeah, they're long. But I know you in and out. And I know how to approach you, how to get you where I need you to be. And it takes time. And the tests are cool. We do like really outside of the box testing. We look at your nutrients and your aminos, your fats, your mitochondrial function, heavy metals. We look at, we can look at your food sensitivities, your gut, hormone metabolites, cortisol. It's like a amazing array of tests looking at a deep dive into your system to see where you are biochemically and how I can move it, manipulate it, get it straight, get it balanced. So, and I've learned over the past few years, like when you saw me, it was more about the body.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah, it's so different now.
Well, I want to start from the beginning. I want people to understand like some of the diagnostic tools that you are using and what you're looking for and some of those common either deficiencies or diagnoses that you're making before we get to how your practice and you've changed as a practitioner, because we were just joking earlier before we started taping that Dr. Lekkos and I sat down at Erewhon for lunch. Of course, it was Erewhon. And we were sitting there having lunch, and you were telling me about your meditation practice. And it just felt like a big gold Care Bear stare. So we'll get there.
I know,
but
right?
let's start from the beginning. Let's start with, what are some of your favorite diagnostic tools and what are you looking at? Because I remember Genova, Cyrex.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a bunch that you use. But
right.
If someone were to come to you and want to be treated like a lab rat, what are your favorite labs you're calling for?
So I have like this core group of tests I'll do. And you mentioned one like Genova. I like the NutriVal. I'll use that a lot. So that test shows me your nutrient status. So I'm going to measure what are your vitamin levels, like your antioxidants, like vitamin A, C, E. We'll look at alpha lipoic acid, glutathione, powerful antioxidant levels in the body. And we look at all your B vitamins, your minerals. We're going to look at your mitochondrial function. We actually look at the Krebs cycle, which is your energy making. It's how your mitochondria, which are little organelles inside of our cells, they're like the engine of the cell. and how they convert fat, carbs, and proteins into fuel for our body. We can actually measure how efficient your body's doing that. So if you're tired a lot, one of the problems you see is sometimes people have mitochondrial dysfunction. It doesn't work right. And we can measure that and see, oh my God, look, you have a lot of badness going on here. Let's find out why. And then that's the problem. That's a good one. We look at all your amino acids to see where they're at. That gives me a clue on digestion, actually, because proteins are made up of amino acids. And if I see someone with globally low aminos,
poor digestion.
Yeah, they got bad digestion, exactly. That, or they're not eating protein.
Yeah.
Or they're not absorbing the aminos.
Right.
So that's a huge one. And we can make custom powders for you if you need to. We look at your fatty acids, your omega-3s, your 6s, your 9s, your saturated fats to see the balance there. We look at some heavy metals. We look at oxidative stress markers. That's a huge one.
What are some of your favorite markers for oxidative stress?
So we look at your glutathione level, which is one of your master antioxidants. We look at lipid peroxides, which is in your urine. And that's a measure of, are you rusting or damaging your cell membranes? And we look at 8-OHDG, which is a measurement of, are you rusting or oxidizing your DNA? And then your CoQ10 level. CoQ10 is a powerful antioxidant that protects the mitochondria and gives them power. So listeners, to understand what this means is critical, because oxidative stress is like a rusting. It's like a piece of metal rust outside, or you cut an apple or banana, it turns brown in half an hour. That's oxidation. That's rusting, decay. It's aging. It's gross. It's not, you don't want that in your body. And we have that in our body naturally a little bit. We need it, but you don't want too much of it because it's going to create disease like cancer. So that's why we call those nutrients antioxidants, because they're anti-oxidation, they're anti-rusting, anti-turning brown, anti-decay. So if your oxidation level in your body's 10, you better have an antioxidant level of 10 to neutralize that sucker so you're even. So we'll see a lot of people, oh my God, you're damaging your DNA, you're damaging your membranes. And we have to look at why. By far, the most common reason I find why people are oxidizing their cell membranes is cooking with olive oil. Everyone is cooking with olive oil on high heat, way too hot, even medium's too hot. You got to keep it. I tell them don't do it, but you got to keep it low to low medium, no more than that. Because if you heat it up too much, it's so fragile, it oxidizes. And then you eat it and it gets in your cell membranes and they don't work right. By far. See, what I like to tell patients, like you probably do, to use like an avocado oil.
Yeah, look for smoke points. You want a higher smoke point if you're going to use a higher heat.
Exactly. So that's by far. So I'll use alpha lipoic acid to fix the problem. That antioxidant gets in the cell membrane and neutralizes the oxidation and protects you again.
Beautiful.
Right.
What about when you were talking about mitochondrial function? When you see dysfunction in the mitochondria, what are you doing to support that little engine that could?
Yeah. So that becomes a question, because you got to look at what could be doing it. And probably the number one thing that I'll see is toxicity. I'll see low B vitamins. I'll see low amino acids as the cause of mitochondrial dysfunction. And in toxicity, the number one toxin I'm finding is heavy metal toxicity, specifically lead and mercury. You can clearly see patterns in the mitochondrial picture to see, oh my, it looks like you got heavy metals. We got to go do a check on that.
So are you always checking someone's heavy metal?
No, I do if you have an autoimmune problem, but if I see the mitochondria are clean, I usually don't, or I'll piece it together, but not at first.
Okay. What about those your nutrient deficiencies? What are the most common nutrient deficiencies you're seeing, and what symptoms present when patients have that?
Hands down, B vitamins.
I remember being low in B6 when I saw you the first time.
Yeah, Bs are always blasted. They do everything in the body. They build neurotransmitters, they build DNA, they make blood, they detoxify you, they make hormones, they're everything. So is the person not eating nutrient-dense food? Are they not digesting? Are they not absorbing their Bs? Maybe the body has a lot of demand on their Bs because they're so stressed out or whatever. But hands down, it's the Bs by far. So I'm always got people on a great multivitamin, sometimes even an activated B complex on top of that to give them more support. So hands down Bs, I'll see red blood cell magnesium is a good one that I see low a lot. They used to think magnesium was in 300 reactions inside the cell. Now it's getting up to 700. It's a very important mineral.
Wow.
So that's another one I see low a lot. Antioxidants, glutathione is always low on people. Alpha lipoic acid is always low on people because those antioxidants get low because your body's using them up to protect you, because our world is so toxic and we're so stressed. And the body's like, oh, damn, I'm getting bombarded by all this crud. I need to protect myself. And it uses those antioxidants to protect itself.
Can you talk to me a little bit about glutathione and supplementing with it? Because I think there are like two sides to that coin where people say if you supplement with it, your body will deplete and it won't produce as much. And I don't know, can you talk me through what you've learned? And
yeah, definitely. Like, I don't like when I have patients and they're low in glutathione, I put them on it and I recheck you in 3 months and they always go up.
Got it.
So I know what I'm doing is working.
Okay.
So I use a liposomal.
Beautiful. The beauty of functional medicine right there is testing the body and watching your levels change.
Yeah, exactly. So I see and I use a liposomal glutathione.
Talk to me about liposomal stuff, because there's the liposomal vitamin C, liposomal vitamin B. Should everything be liposomal? What's the mechanism there?
So liposomal just means it has glutathione is hard to get absorbed. And so liposomal is a technology where the glutathione molecule is kind of wrapped around this little fat ball, so to speak, to put basic, and it gets through the gut and can absorb much easier. It doesn't get destroyed in the gut tract. So I think liposomal glutathione is great. Liposomal alpha lipoic acid is great. C for sure. For example, like 1 packet of liposomal vitamin C is 1,000 milligrams. That's the same as you taking about 2,000 to 3,000 milligrams of a regular powdered vitamin C.
Wow.
So it's way more
majorly
absorption.
Increasing the bioavailability
yes,
there.
Exactly. Bees, I don't know. I mean, bees are water soluble, not that big a deal, but it could be helpful. So I use Live On Labs or Seeking Health. I love them. Those are my 2 go-tos for boosting those levels for sure. I take glutathione every morning. I think everybody should, because it's like your master guy to protect you. So why not?
Yeah, it's the master
Takes
antioxidant in the body.
Yeah, 5 seconds, pop it in your mouth and you're good to go. Why not?
Yeah. What are your thoughts on supplementation, and how has that changed in your practice over the last 8 years?
I think that as you get experience in this, you start to learn what's good and what's not good. I have my products I like and I don't like, and I've weeded through. I've done tons and hours of research on what I think are the best brands and products. And at first you have people on way too much stuff and it gets hard to take all these pills. And so I'm learning to dial it back or do things in stages for sure. But I think we all need them. I think the food we're eating is so not what it used to be.
It's depleted.
Big time.
Growing fast. Yeah, I know. It's heartbreaking. I'm really looking forward to a documentary that's coming out called Sacred Cow. And it's going to talk about the diversity of soil and regenerative farms, which is pretty cool.
Wow, that's cool. That's
just
good.
Dropping that, just in case,
in case
you want to watch that. But why don't you, or can you explain what you've seen an increase in your practice, like diagnosis wise, and what you're surprised about, I guess, and maybe what you're not surprised about?
I see a lot of gut dysfunction. I see a lot of maldigestion or poor digestion, SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, a lot of that. I see a lot of autoimmune disorder, because we're kind of picking up autoimmunity 2, 5, 7, 10 years before it's showing up now. And that's why I'm checking ANA, anti-nuclear antigens, on people, because even though they don't have a full-blown autoimmune disease yet, I can see, oh, you're headed that way. And I've had plenty of people who are ANA positive with titers that are up, and we do the thing and they reverse, and you're out of the woods. So we've seen way more and more of autoimmunity popping up. I mean, it's crazy. I think it has to do mostly with, there's a trigger for autoimmunity. It's going to be a toxin. It's going to be a food sensitivity. It's going to be a chronic low-lying infection like Epstein-Barr virus. All of them have leaky gut. All of them.
Can you explain what leaky gut is?
So leaky gut is, and this is real, I want you to picture in your mind a row of bricks where they're all mortared together like a wall. end to end. And those are cells, one wall of cell. Below the brick/cell is the bloodstream, and above the brick cell is the gut. So nutrients are supposed to go through the top of the brick/cell, through the other end of the brick cell into the bloodstream and go off and do their thing. But what happens in leaky gut is the mortar holding the bricks together is chewed away and gone. Now there's a big gap, and therefore particles of food are getting not through the cell anymore, but around the cell. Around the cell, getting in the bloodstream. You're getting food pieces, you're getting mold, yeast, food coloring, chemicals, toxins, plastic water bottle pieces, you name it, getting in your bloodstream. Now your immune system sees all this and is like, what the hell? What is that doing here? What's that doing here? What is this? What is that? These are foreign invaders. Not supposed to be here. And now your immune system's creating antibodies against all these different things. And antibodies are like soldiers that cruise around in your blood looking for, say, gluten or plastic, and it grabs onto it and says, hey guys, I caught me one. Come over here and kill this thing for me. That's how it works in a nutshell. So what happens in leaky gut, if it stays bad and it stays there for a long time, your immune system's constantly pounded with all this garbage and it gets overwhelmed. It gets so overwhelmed, it starts thinking you look foreign and attacking you. And now you got an autoimmune problem. So we'll start to see people in here with eczema and rashes and brain fog and chronic sinus disease. I'm always draining. I'm always tired. I always got shiners under my eyes. I've got my hair's falling out. It presents like any symptom you can think of, leaky gut. It's bananas. So when you find out what they're sensitive to with food sensitivity testing or whatever, you remove those things, clean up their body, detoxify them, give them products to heal the leaky gut, put the mortar back in, fill the holes in, get them on some stuff to get their immune system to calm down. Then you start to see, oh, wow, energy's picking up, rash is gone, no more drainage. I mean, you see all these changes. It's amazing. And Western medicine has no idea. They think it's like, what is leaky gut? I never heard that before. So it's just completely different. And it works. Amazing. Really, really works.
So what are some of the things you are giving people to fill the mortar back in? Okay, so there's a couple options. My favorite product is Mega Mucosa by Microbiome Labs. We used that with Sebastian when he was first born, when he had major eczema, and it was a huge help.
Yeah, it's my favorite. People complain about the taste, but I don't think it's that bad.
Mm-mm.
No.
Because you had me on it as well, because I was breastfeeding him. So we were making sure that my gut was in check, and so was his.
That's right.
Which was great.
Making sure that your antibodies weren't blasting up, gets into your breast milk, goes into him, he flares. So you both were on it. So that's my go-to. Another product you could use would be L-glutamine. 5 grams twice a day, empty stomach for 6 weeks. That's a good one. But the other things that are more like, so if you're out there and you want to keep your gut healthy, you would do a good collagen, hydrolyzed collagen protein. That's a good way to maintain leaky gut. You can do the Mega Mucosa product Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Once your gut's all healed, keep you on it if you need it. Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? I mean, if people are eating out and they're stressed and they're traveling and they really don't have the control that they want over their lifestyle because of the demands of their career or whatever, it seems like a good thing to do.
It is. And it's not that hard to do. And you're going to be preventing disease from popping up and other symptoms. I mean, it's just an easy thing that'll, help the body stay really healthy.
What are some other easy things that you love incorporating into your life or your patients that you think are beneficial like that to the majority of people?
Number one, hands down, sleep.
So good.
Sleep.
He's telling this to a new mom.
It gets better, honey.
Oh, God.
Once they get older, I know what you're saying.
I
know. It's brutal.
No, I'm just going to bed at 8:45.
Yeah.
Because he's like, Mom, 5 o'clock. Let's do this. Trucks.
I know. It's like the number one thing I have to get right first. Because if you sleep good, lots of stuff gets better. That you'll see this snowball in a positive way. I would say, 9 out of 10 people in here are not sleeping enough, not the right quality, so to speak, because of what they're doing before they go to bed is setting them up for bad sleep cycles. It's like
TV, alcohol, emails,
eating late, blue light, right, from all the
Mm-hmm.
electronics.
Totally.
They're it's bananas. Like they even did a study where they took people who were having insomnia and they put them they took them to the forest and had them live in nature. And it was amazing because they all ended up going to bed naturally at 9:30 p.m.
I was going to say, literally, when you are camping, it is 9 o'clock at night and you think it's midnight.
Yeah. And they were sleeping 8 or 9 hours. Amazing. So it's all the garbage out there in our mind, all the stuff and electronics and pressure and blah, 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 that really manifests negatively with your sleep. It's amazing. So I got to get you sleeping. We'll work on sleep hygiene, maybe some supplements to take for sleep.
What are your favorites?
So I love to make melatonin compounded, but if I know it's kind of a controversial thing. Some people say don't take it every day. You won't make your own. And that could happen with some people. But I mean, honestly, the majority of people I've used it on have no issue with it. You try to keep it to the lowest dose possible, but put it this way, you're hurting your body more by not sleeping. So let's do it for now until we figure out a homeostatic system in your body, right? So I love melatonin. I love CBD.
Can you talk a little bit about CBD? I feel like it is everywhere. They want me to use it in my skincare. They want you to vape with it. They want to drop it in your water. It's
in booze now.
It's in everything.
I know. Well, it's a big marketing thing. I mean, really.
Right.
But it is good for you.
How do you detect quality and how do you
That's the
decipher
problem.
which products are good and which aren't and what your dose should be? And I
That's the
mean, I
problem.
get so many emails from these companies being like, Kelly, we'd love for you to promote CBD. And I have to write them back nicely. I'm sorry, I don't just promote product. And I just can't with the CBD because I feel like it'd take me months to figure out quality and I need to find an expert in it.
Yeah, you're right. It's like everywhere and you don't know what's good and what's not good. So, I have my two favorites I can mention. I love Ned and Company. They're in Colorado. Very clean, very nice product. Charlotte's Web is another really good one. And I like them because the Ned product, they have a 1,500 milligram bottle and it's expensive CBD. So that bottle will last you a long time. You don't need a whole lot. A couple drops under your tongue. And Charlotte's Web, the same thing. Those are my two favorites. Been around. Charlotte's Web is.
I feel like I've heard of Charlotte's
That's
Web
been
before.
around. Yeah,
that's like OG.
They did all the research on that. That they use Charlotte's Web with little kids with seizures who were having breakthrough seizures, and they helped a ton. So, yeah, they're coming out left and right, and who knows what's what.
How does CBD work? What and when should you be taking it?
Well, it's the endocannabinoid system in our body. We have receptors for CBD.
On every cell in your body.
Yes, CBD1, central nervous system, and peripheral CBD2. So I use it in the following ways. Sleep, anxiety. It's great for the adrenals to calm you down, adrenal response. It's very good anti-inflammatory. It helps the pain. It helps to fight cancer. So it's a great product and it has its applications. Does everybody need to be on it? I mean, not necessarily, but if you have the following things I just said, then yeah, it can be very helpful for you. And the dosing is not, there's no like, oh, you need 5 milligrams or 10 milligrams or 20, 40, whatever. That's not true. Everyone is so different. You might need 10 milligrams. I need 50 to get the same response. You have to just play with it and see where you dial it in for you.
Are you supposed to be feeling a response?
You would, yeah. You'll notice, oh, wow, I'm much more calm than I usually
But you're not
am.
going to feel high.
No, you won't. Now, if you take a whole bunch of it, it does get converted into a THC-like molecule that can make you feel a little high in a way. So, yeah, you can overdo it.
Got it. Okay, so melatonin, CBD.
Yeah, I love those two. I love, we talked about this before. L-theanine is one of my big go-tos because everybody's so freaking stressed out and they got their mind on a gabillion things. The mind is going, chatter, racing. I can't fall asleep because my mind is going a million miles an hour. I wake up at 2 and I start thinking about what I got to do. So L-theanine is extracted from green tea. And it is a great product to stop the chatter, to relax the brain, have it focus. You dial in, relax, and you're good to go. You take, I like 400 milligrams at bedtime. That's my thing, maybe 600 sometimes. Even in the daytime, it doesn't make you sleepy. It just makes you focus, but it definitely stops the chatter. So, and it helps the adrenal glands, the stress response system. So I love melatonin, CBD, L-theanine, magnesium at night's great, mag-glycinate or mag-malate.
Yeah, I was going to say, what are your favorite types?
Mag-glycinate and malate are better because they're absorbed into the bloodstream. The threonates gets into the brain, but mag-oxide makes you poop.
Yeah.
Yeah, mag-citrate makes you poop. So 4% of those mag-oxide and citrate get absorbed in the system, in the body. The rest of it stays in the gut. That's why you poop.
Right.
So you want to stick with the other two.
Yeah, I like glycinate the best.
Yeah, it's great. Or chelated,
mm-hmm.
CHELATED. Chelated magnesiums means it's like a higher bioavailability. It's more absorbed.
Is it just broken down more? With the
chelation,
it's almost like a methylated version of B vitamins.
Exactly,
chelated
same thing.
Version
exactly.
Of
it's more active, so to speak. Yeah. So that's why I look at red blood cell magnesium levels, because that's what's in the cell itself, not floating around in your serum.
Right.
Because magnesium is probably the most common deficiency in human beings, the most common mineral we see low, that and zinc.
Do you attribute that to stripped water sources or lack of the nutrient and lack of people eating produce? Or
definitely.
Yeah.
100%. It's
not about those leafy greens.
That's it. That's exactly right. It's in leafy greens. Yeah, that's just in our food. It's just going downhill. The quality there's not as much as we used to think. So,
right,
you need supplementation if you need it.
Let's back up to adrenal fatigue. Mm-hmm. How are you diagnosing that with a client?
So, first talking to you, I'm going to ask you your energy pattern, and here's a few clues. Like, I don't wake refreshed. I crash in the afternoon, and at night I feel money. I feel so good. I feel.
Let's go to the club and dance. I don't even need a drink. Just give me a box.
Exactly. Yeah. So you feel like that's the best time of my day. You have like this backward ass pattern.
Right.
People are more annoying. I can't handle stress. Every little thing drives me crazy. I can't deal with it.
Is Chris listening to this podcast? Babe, do you have adrenal fatigue?
So there's a lot of those symptoms too, but we'll go through the whole gamut of it. And then I'll do, I like to do Dutch urine cortisol test, and we'll look at your pattern through the day.
Those are the ones where you're peeing all day long.
You pee on these pieces of paper,
right.
Actually, yeah. And so your cortisol should spike in the morning. You should feel like, I'm up, I feel great, let's go. And then as the day goes on, your cortisol slowly dips down and it goes low at night, so you want to go to sleep. That's how it should be. And we see crazy patterns. People are flatlined, they're super tired. And we'll look at the urinary cortisol metabolites. That's the best predictor for your overall adrenal gland power. So we'll see, and I can always tell this person's had years of chronic stress. They got a beat down. Their adrenals are tapped. And what happens to the body, your body's smart, because your body is like, cortisol is your fight or flight hormone. It's your survival. It'll make that over anything else. Yeah, pregnenolone is the mother hormone to cortisol.
You're right.
So if what happens in that is you're so stressed making cortisol, pregnenolone goes down, and that's one of your neuroprotective hormones. It's your short-term memory hormone, and you start to get deficiencies there. But what happens with the body, though, it's so smart that it can sense that, oh, Kelly's adrenals are wiped. She can only pump out this amount, and it's not that much. But man, I got to keep it around because she's got to survive and fight all this stuff she's doing. So what it does, it doesn't let your body doesn't want itself to metabolize and break down your cortisol. So it slows down the metabolic rate, slows your metabolism down. So in the way it does that, it slows down the thyroid. And the thyroid slows, and you see sluggish thyroids all the time because of the adrenals. So now the patient feels tired. I can't lose weight. My hair, my nails are changing. My cycles are getting heavier. And it's because of a sluggish thyroid due to the adrenals. So I'll blast the adrenals, they'll get all over them. And the thyroid comes back into play once the adrenals heal and they feel fine.
So what are you doing to heal those adrenals, or what are you working on with clients who have adrenal fatigue?
So you got to support them with nutrients. So I'll use B vitamins. I'll use vitamin C liposomal. I love ashwagandha. It's my favorite herb. I'll use Relora, rhodiola. There's all kinds of adrenal adaptogens, we call them. Adaptogens means that if the cortisol's low, it pulls them up. And if the cortisol's high, it'll bring them back down. So I use adaptogens. But the biggest thing of all is teaching you how to not stress. If you don't stress out, the system gets to breathe and you get to break the whole process. Because if you think about it, stress isn't real. What color is it? Go get me some and bring it back and show me what it looks like. You can't do that. It's your reaction to life. It's your perception to a problem. It's your way you're responding to everything. So you have a decision to make. How do you want to respond to these things? Because cortisol elevation, if it's chronic and long-term, wrecks you and will kill you. Anxiety, depression, memory problems, slow thyroid, high cholesterol, high blood pressure, more heart attacks. You don't digest well. Your risk of diabetes goes up. You can't reproduce. You get infertile. Guys get low testosterone. You get cancer easier. Sound good to you?
No thanks.
It's not. And it's all because of how you respond to life. If you respond differently, you're not going to have all that stuff happen to you. So step back for a second and breathe. Exactly. Do box breathing. You know what box breathing is? No, that's not box breathing. There you go. So it's like, there's all kinds of variations, but box breathing is beautiful. The Navy SEALs do that stuff. It's in my version of it, which is the common, is you breathe in for 4 seconds, hold it for 5, exhale for an 8 count, and do that 3 or 4 times back to back. I swear to you, the third round of that, your shoulders drop, your neck relaxes. You just feel like, oh.
Should have started the podcast doing box breath.
We should have done that. So it's like.
Let's do it. How do we do it?
So you inhale for 4 seconds. You count in your head, 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000. Then you're going to hold it for a 5 count. 1, 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5. And then you exhale for an 8 count. And it's a long, long exhale. It takes a long time. But that's round 1. Then you do it 3 or 4 more rounds and you instantly feel your cortisol drop. So if you're a person who's like, go, go, go all day, you better be doing this every hour. You can do it in meetings and elevators. No one knows you're doing it, but it gives your body a little break. So it's good to take breaks in the day, breathe, meditate, all kinds of techniques for stress response.
I feel like this is the perfect time to transition to how your practice has changed and how you've changed as a practitioner.
So it used to be all about the body, like when I saw you. That's what I thought it was all about. But as I started getting more into this, and it's Los Angeles, man, we have all kinds of outside of the box woo-woo type of things going on, and we're in the woo. We're in the woo. And I've seen the woo do some wonders, and it's very different, and it's very expanded my mind to look out way outside. So I've really learned that it is really, really about the mind, the body, and the spirit to create a really balanced human being. And I'm learning that the mind and the spirit play a way bigger role than we think. And I always tell every patient I've seen here the story about the trees in the school. Do you know this study?
No.
So I talk about this all the time because it's fascinating. IKEA sponsored, the furniture company, a study where they put these 2 plants in the school and they put them in a glass box where you couldn't touch them. But they got the same sun and the same water every single day for a month. And one of the trees was loved and praised and complimented by the students. You're the best tree ever. I love you. You're so beautiful. Like doing selfies with the tree. And it was so cool. Yeah. But the other tree was bullied. They're like, you suck. We hate you. You're the worst tree ever. You need to die. No one likes you. You're just going off on the tree. 30 days goes by. You guys got to Google this and look at the pictures. It's phenomenal. The praised tree looks awesome. The other tree that was bullied is half dead. The leaves are down. They're yellow. It's dying. Same food, same sun. The energy of those kids giving off toward a living thing was killing it. Just the thought, the vibe. The problem is that people are walking around out there in the world the same way. They're in their head. I suck. I'm not lovable. I'm not worthy. I'm not good enough. I'm putting too much pressure on myself. I have to deliver. Why aren't I good enough? Why don't people like me? And they're running these records and these ways of thinking that is hurting your body just like you did the tree.
It just hurts me when you even say that. Like, it's so sad to think
it's so sad. And you're not aware of it. And so I'll make you aware of it, and we'll go back into your childhood and look at, where did you pick that up? Who told you were stupid and you believed it as a 6-year-old? That's not who you are. That's not your true soul. Give it back to that person. That's them projecting their crap on you. It's not you. So I'll teach people how to think differently and how to think about themselves and empower themselves and realize what a badass human being you really are, and to let that out of yourself. Because we all are. We're all the same underneath. We really, really are. Man, look, Kelly, I've seen so many people across this country, and I strip away all the crap and all the stories, and we're all just these little beings of vulnerability who just want love and to be loved. That's it. That's it. It's that simple. But we're out there in this game, and we have this craziness going on, this competition, and we yell at each other, and we talk crap about behind each other, but we're all the same, and that really bothers me. If we all could wrap our heads around that, you wouldn't do that to each other. It'd be a way better planet.
It would be so much better.
Right?
What do you, when you sit down with someone and you're trying to get to the heart of who they are and strip it away, what are some daily tools that you're giving people that you love that's, that have transformed your life?
Yeah. The number one thing first is to be aware. Awareness is the first thing, because some people don't even know they're doing it. So teaching them to be aware of how they're thinking, like, oh my God, I am pretty negative. So I ask you, are you optimistic, a pessimistic, or a realist person? People who are more negative have more illness. They die earlier. They have more diseases. So I'll make them aware of how they're thinking and teach them how to change it. How to change a pessimist to an optimist. I'll teach them how to journal. So if you're a negative person out there, every night, you better write down 3 good things that happened to you today. You can never repeat them. 3 good things every single day. Never repeat them. And you'll get stuck one day and like, what the hell do I put? And you got to think really hard, and you're going to think of small things that happened to you. Like, oh, wow, I heard my kids laughing when I was cooking dinner tonight. And I stopped and listened to them, that little laugh, and it was just beautiful. Or I watched the sunset as I was driving home. Traffic, the clouds were on fire. It was amazing. And you'll start to notice good things in life, because if you do it at night before you go to bed, your subconscious gets planted to look for good things the next day. The more you do it, you'll see, and life becomes really cool, because you notice the good things in everything. Like, things taste better. People look better. People are acting better. I mean, it's just amazing. You'll see it's a change. So doing that's one thing. Meditation. I'll have them deal with childhood stuff. It's hard. That's the hard one.
What are the modalities in which you're helping them deal with childhood stuff?
Making them understand that they're not the loser they thought they were, or they're lovable, or they're worthy. Because you pick that up when you're little, because someone makes you feel that way, and you don't have the tools to deal with it when you're little. Or your parent tells you that, and you interpret something that way. And so you'll let it run your show your whole life. Well, my dad said I was dumb. I guess I'm dumb. He knows everything. You just feel that way. Or divorce, or people get abused emotionally and sexually and physically. Little kids are having to grow up way too fast, or parenting their parents. There's just a lot of stuff that goes on. But you have to teach them that that's not you. That's your parent, teacher, friends making fun of you, projecting onto you, and making you feel a certain way. So you need to give them that crap back. Take it back. It's not me. Discover who you want to be and be that person. It's a beautiful thing to create who you really want to be. Just decide. Just decide and go do it. It's not that hard. Just make a choice. I'm going to do that. And so it takes work sometimes. And people who are really, really hurt, you need hypnotherapy. You need some kind of, I love psychedelics. That's blooming now. It's going to be, I don't know if you knew this, but a few Fridays ago, the FDA approved, MDMA for PTSD, expanded the use of MDMA, which is ecstasy. So if you've tried XYZ for PTSD and it didn't work, then they're going to allow MDMA to be tried.
Who will be dosing MDMA?
Well, the FDA wants you to get trained by MAPS, and they want you to learn the protocols. It's really strict. but you will be in an office setting, laying on a couch. You take it, you're with, it's kind of sort of guided, and there's a lot of moving parts to it. But the research is fantastic using mushrooms, which is psilocybin in mushrooms, and MDMA for PTSD and anxiety and depression. It's way better than medication. It's amazing. This stuff's on the earth for a reason. It's wild.
It's really interesting to me, just the paradigm shift from sitting with a therapist and talking about a painful situation over and over and over again. I'll say from my personal experience after Bash's birth, that was probably the most traumatic thing I ever went through in my entire life.
Yes.
I generally think I can take on whatever I want. Sometimes I get a little stuck and get nervous and chicken out and then eventually get myself to go do something. But it was really traumatic. Yeah. And sitting down with a therapist and having to talk about it for 4 months, it really felt like I was ripping a scab off over and over and over again. Mm-hmm. And it was scarring in a way that I don't think I even went to the depths of that trauma with the first time around. And I ended up stopping because I've been to therapy for other things in the past that I felt like, an ex-boyfriend or something, where that bout of therapy was like a great way for me to get over something or move on from something. But this felt like I was reliving it over and over and over again. And it hurt more.
Yeah.
And I was like, is it supposed to hurt more and then I'm going to get over it more? But I took some time away from it and I actually rewrote the story in my brain that like this integrated it. Like this is what happened to me. And I have a beautiful little boy that I'm like beyond grateful for. His health, our health. Every single day I'm so much more present and so much more grateful for him just toddling around our apartment. Mm-hmm. So it is interesting to look at the difference between traditional therapy and what is happening in the mushrooms and psychedelic space and different forms of therapy like hypnotherapy and what's the other one? EMDR. Yeah.
I like EMDR too. I mean, so let me get this straight. What did you do to overcome? Because you sound like you had PTSD for sure from this event.
Mm-hmm, sure.
And I get what you're saying. The cognitive therapy, that's a hard job. But I just find that talking to people, it's not that amazing. It's helpful, but it just takes so long. And like you say, sometimes you keep reliving it and you're like, it's just like, what is going on?
Yeah. Part of me felt like I needed to talk it out or move through it because I had a lot of emotion connected to it. But it felt like therapy made it worse. I was like, you know what? Let me just take a breather and let's see how I feel. And I think about it less now. I don't want it to be hiding in my body somewhere. I probably process Sebastian's birth the most on my yoga mat.
Wow.
I will practice yoga for an hour to 90 minutes in a class and tears will roll down my face spontaneously in class. And I walk away feeling lighter. Like I feel like it's in my body, but I'm releasing it that way. And I think about it. I don't run from the thoughts. Like I think about what happened.
Good.
But it's easier for me to just be with myself on it than vocalize it.
Yeah.
In a weird way.
Maybe that's just your way. Maybe some people would better with talk therapy. I don't know. But the way you're talking, like sounds like it's very somatic. It's in your body. Because you're right. Like our brain stores memories, but our body stores emotion. So there is the thing called somatic yoga, and you can release these things. That's good that you do that. You're releasing the emotion. You're releasing that. I mean, if you were a person who was still stuck and having problems, then you would look into a psychedelic kind of thing to get over it.
So funny. So many people I respect have recommended that.
Yeah.
And I like the research. I need to see the research on it to go into it. I would say I was way more closed-minded about it before, but I'll keep my eyes open.
Yeah, you should. I mean, it's coming. The next will be mushrooms, and it's going to keep going. And you can, you can just look online. And you'll find case after case after case of life-changing things. Been on drugs forever. I'm a mess. Tried them all. I'm a mess. Did the journey with mushrooms with a professional, and I'm better. But right now it's all underground illegal stuff, but the research cases are amazing. So look, this is not willy-nilly. I don't want to make people think they can go out and do this stuff on their own and you're going to heal yourself. It is not like that whatsoever. You take MDMA, which is ecstasy, you think I'm going to have fun on the couch. It ain't fun. You're going deep. It's not like that.
Wow.
So I'm not advocating people go out and think they can self-treat. It's not like that.
Get a referral from a functional MD.
You just need to get on board with people who are doing it legally with MDMA, which is now expanded, but yeah, it's coming.
It's interesting stuff.
Very.
So what else is interesting to you in the functional medicine space?
I think that what I'm seeing treatment-wise that's fascinating is peptide therapy, which is, peptides are pieces of protein that are less than 50 amino acids. That's the definition of a peptide. So we have over 7,000 peptides in our body, or they're basically like signaling molecules. They hit cells and tell them to do stuff. So this is really growing, and I'm seeing some crazy, amazing results with peptides. And we're using them for things like body composition, like to burn fat. So it's like we learned that growth hormone, the tail end of it, the little cap on the end, that's the part responsible for fat burning, lipolysis or fat breakdown. So they popped that little amino acid sequence off and made a peptide that you can inject into yourself and you can get some fat burning. I've never given growth hormone and I never will. I don't advocate human growth hormone. I don't think it's good for the body just because the cancer risk is there. I don't want to mess with it, but I'll definitely push your body to squirt out growth hormone in its natural sense. Your body shuts off the faucet. So it's a good anti-aging tool or to get leaned out. They have peptides I'm using for autoimmunity. I'm combining ozone and peptides and some herbs for Epstein-Barr virus and seeing some phenomenal results with that. Like amazing.
How many people do you see that, what would you say the percentage of people come back with Epstein-Barr?
So 90% of people on this earth have been exposed to Epstein-Barr. I'll see that on 90% of my patients. They've seen it before. And then some people have it reactivated where it's kind of still, it comes back on or it's not killed all the way. And I probably see that, I don't know, 15%, not that much. But if you're tired and fatigued, I'm going to be checking it on you. And if it's super high, that's probably the reason.
Wow.
And I've kind of figured out through the years how to get rid of it.
How are you dosing peptides? Or obviously you're injecting these. Are people seeing you weekly? Are they seeing you monthly? How long is the treatment?
Okay, that's a good question. So depends on what it's for, but you'll come in and I'll teach you all about peptides, why you're taking this particular one, the risks, the benefits. And that is the downside. They're injectables. That's kind of the bummer, but it's not as bad as you think it is. And depending on what your condition is will be how long you'll be on them. Typically it's months. You got to break and cycle things. It just depends. The International Peptide Society is a great resource for us doctors that we join and we talk to each other. We go through cases with each other. We develop protocols together. So I'm really in it. I'm always reading about them. But I think that's probably the most cutting edge thing I'm seeing right now. I'm making the most dramatic changes in people's health is peptides.
Wow. That's saying something.
It's a lot.
Because you have a lot of tools at your disposal.
Yeah, you do. It's cool. So you combine diet, lifestyle, supplements, peptides, and you're going to meditation, all that brain stuff, health stuff. You get a good person.
So you're telling me I need to come in here for some peptides?
I need some updating. Maybe.
Okay, so I think we squirreled back a little while ago talking about what were the best things someone could do for their lifestyle outside of sleep.
Oh, yeah.
What are some other tools that you, I guess, prescribe to your clients, even if they're not medications?
Yeah, so I think there's a core 5 things
that
you can do. So exercise.
What's your favorite?
When you come in, I'll get you started doing HIIT, high intensity interval training, 3 days a week, then 2 days of body weights or some type of muscle building, and 2 days of rest. Everybody's overtraining, overworking out. Exercise is the best drug in the world. It can change everything. It's amazing for mental health. It's crazy. You boost something called BDNF when you work out, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, which grows new neurons in the mind. So I think sleep, exercise, proper diet, de-stressing yourself, detoxifying the body are the pillars that you have to really work on. So like I mentioned, the stress response, like definitely want to tell you this. I love this. I made this up. It's like the 1 month rule. You've heard versions of it, but the 1 month rule means if you're pissed, anxious, stressed, worried about something, ask yourself, will I be feeling this way in a month about this situation? And most of the time you're going to say, no, I'm not going to care about the fight I got in with my significant other. I'm not going to care about this bad email or the deal didn't go through or whatever. If you say, no, I'm not going to think about this in a month, then just let it go. You're hurting your body. Why? If you say yes, I'll give it to you. So we talk about exercise, stress response. We should talk about like box breathing, 1 month rule, meditation. We talk about diet, which is like way up your alley.
Yeah. What would be your favorite type of diet?
So I love to start out people with like the paleo Mediterranean combination. I like that the best.
Do you see a difference in your patients who eat that way in their testing?
Oh, for sure. For sure. And I like to go plant heavy. Like I like 70, 80% plants, the rest proteins. And if it's really necessary, sometimes I've been tinkering this. I'll have people go vegetarian or vegan 3 days a week and the rest is open for whatever. So I love, super clean water, filtered, all organic, grass-fed, grass-finished, wild-caught, everything, super clean food, gluten-free, dairy-free, low on sugar, low carbish, not too many carbs, low on processed foods. And I love intermittent fasting. And I've talked about this a lot in the past. That's my favorite go-to. There's not one diet for everybody, but I think it's like the best one to start with. Intermittent fasting is kind of growing out of favor. They don't like that term anymore. People are using, time-restricted feeding is the new term, right? So that's my go-to to start with. You get a lot of good. Most people do well on that.
What do you see go down on blood tests when people intermittent fast? Or time-restricted eat?
Time-restricted feeding, yeah. So I have seen cardiovascular markers get better, like cholesterol profiles get better. I've seen hemoglobin A1C go down, which is our pre-diabetes or diabetes risk markers go down. Because when you're intermittent fast, you improve your insulin sensitivity and your glucose utilization. So your risk of diabetes goes down, your cholesterol profile goes down, blood pressure goes down, anti-aging genes get turned on. It's just and it mimics your genetics. Like that's how cave people used to eat, right?
Didn't have access to food 24/7.
Are you still on intermittent fasting yourself? And you still?
Yeah, I do time restricted eating between, I'll eat at like 9 or 10 and then I'll finish dinner with Bash at 5:30. So I actually move my hours.
You turn it. Yeah, I see.
I call it circadian synced intermittent fasting.
You can do that.
It works.
It works.
In
many ways.
What was funny, getting ready for my book tour, all I did was, I didn't change anything. I was moving my body and eating the way I always have. But I just told myself, I'm not going to eat with Chris anymore. I'm going to eat with Bash. And I just had dinner with Bash. And it was amazing. I didn't even try. And You don't
get hungry like at 7 or 8?
No, I feel like if I eat enough because it's always that 4:00 hour that is a little bit difficult sometimes. It's where that dip in energy might happen. And so I will start cooking dinner for Bash at 4:30 or 5. And I'll sit down with him at 5:30 or 6. And that's it. I just started making teas and drinking water. And whereas it wasn't crazy, but before that, I maybe would eat with Chris at 7. Then I might have a piece of dark chocolate, like a keto dark chocolate that's using monk fruit or something after that, or a tablespoon of almond butter or something like that. But it really helped me. Because if I eat enough and feel good, I'm good.
Yeah, that's the key. You said it. If you eat enough, you're going to be fine. Because people are under eating too much in that window. That's I find is the most common mistake in time restricted feeding. They think they have to diet in that window of eating, and you'd better not. You better eat your full day's requirements of food, or your body's going to think you're starving itself.
Right.
Yeah.
I know that's always really surprising too. When clients are like, "But what? How many meals?" And I'm like, 3 meals.
Yeah, pack it in.
Just get it done.
Get it
And by the way, you probably won't be snacking on junk food because there will be very little time between your meals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if you, like you said, if you eat enough at dinner, you're so full and good, you don't need to even.
And I feel so sharp in the morning.
Yeah.
What a difference when I have completely digested my food before I go to sleep.
Yes.
It's huge.
Great. Good for you.
So, yeah, but cool. So, peptides, little intermittent fasting.
Yeah. So, and then detoxification is a big one because our the United States has 80,000 to 100,000 chemicals running around, and our bodies are not built to handle that burden. It's hard for our system to get rid of all this crap in our body. So that's why what you eat and drink is important. So I talk about what goes in the body, on the body, and around the body. So in means food and water. What are you eating and drinking? You better be clean. And you better be gluten-free, dairy-free, all that kind of stuff. And on the body means what are you using to wash your clothes in, wash your body in, what kind of makeup you're putting on your face and lotions and creams and stuff. Look for the word perfume and fragrance on all your labels. I don't care if it's organic, beautiful bottle. Look on the back. You'll sometimes find fragrance and you need to throw that away because we hide about 30 or so chemicals under the word, quote, fragrance that are big hormone disruptors and potentially carcinogens or cancer causers that you don't want in your system. So, I love Dr. Bronner's or olive oil soap. Just minimize what you put on your skin. Don't use Cascade pods in your wash your dishes. I mean, that's like everyone does that.
Yeah. No, I think the EWG and Think Dirty are two great applications that I have on my phone. I'll just scan things, make sure that they're green or a 1 or 2, and then I feel good about it. And I'm so impressed with the new companies that are coming out. I really, at first, it felt like I was sacrificing by switching to green products, 8 or 10 years ago. And then I got even more serious when Sebastian was born because it's amazing what you'll do with, you'll do for,
keep them clean.
Yes, a brand new baby. And I was surprised at the number of chemicals found in umbilical cords and things like that. So it's hard. Okay, well, I'll put some of these links in the show notes and make sure everyone has everything. So I'd love for you to leave our listeners with a word of advice. I think for me, my takeaways from this episode was definitely the box breathing. I think that's a phenomenal technique. And I also loved the gratitude project, the gratitude journal, because that's something that really resonates with me. When I'm in a place of positivity and feeling grateful, it feels like it just synergistically creates more gratitude in my life. And it's a really good way to find the positive. I love for my clients to find the positive on their plate with the Fab 4. It's not about feeling bad about yourself. It's about feeling good about your choices, and that you just have given everyone a tool to feel good about their life and find the positive. So what other advice would you have for our listeners who maybe aren't feeling their best and are looking for a functional MD? How could they find someone like you? And what should they be looking for?
So functional medicine, you can go to IFM, internationalfunctionalmedicine.org, ifm.org. You can find docs in your area on their website. And A4M, number 4, M is in Mary.com. They're American Academy of Anti-Aging Medicine. You can find docs like me there too, if you want to look for a resource.
You're kind of a unicorn, though. How do we find a functional MD who isn't just going to send us home with a bunch of pills?
Yeah, I know.
And actually talk about lifestyle?
Well, I hear you.
Just email you.
So,
follow you online.
That's why I do these things, because I'm trying to reach more people. Because the take home advice for me is like, I believe that if you just change how you think, you will change your health, because your thoughts have power. Your thoughts have energy. Your body listens to how you think. Remember the plant thing I just talked about with the kids. So I want you to think about, how am I thinking? What do I think about myself? Am I negative, positive? Do I care what people think? Am I a people pleaser? You want to look at the records you're playing in your head and get therapy if you need to stop that. But number one is just go create who you want to be. That's all you got to do. It's a powerful thing. And if you just live from your heart and not your head, you're going to be money.
It's such a pleasure to know you, Dr. Lekkos.
Oh, thank you. You too.
Thank you so much for being a guest today.
My pleasure.
Where can people find you?
www.drlekkos.com.
Thank you so much. And what's your Instagram handle?
It's
Do you know?
I know I never get on it. I know.
Every now and then I get a little story pop up. It's good. You don't need it.
Yeah.
You don't need it.
Was it at @dr_lekkos?
Yes.
Yeah, so you even know.
I'll tag you. I'll tag you in your own stuff. Don't worry.
I got to do that stuff. I know.
You're the best.
You are. Thank you
Thanks.
so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Till next time, guys.